are you a dog person? I see a huge one there.
Not at all. Not at all. I'm like proper Guju. Gujus generally don't like dogs, and really? I mean personally, whatever you say, I don't like dogs. And then we came here, and I decided I want to stay here alone. So my parents, my husband, okay, you can't stay alone here. This is not a good place. You need a dog. We don't have a house in the city, and me and my husband, we decided, okay, we will have this house. It will be our first house. And because our house are movable, we made a demonstration of such kind that you can hire a land, build your house because you have money for house but not the land. Live there. When you buy your land, shift to your house. And we kind of demonstrated with this blue house that we had a rented land. We made it, we used it for 2 years as an office. And then we bought our land, we moved it here.
Why containers? Where did that really take off?
Right. So we in 2013 we came up with a client came up to us, and he said, I want to design a sleep box concept as a hotel in our containers. We spent a year doing containers, in these spaces and learning kya hai, kya nahi. We had actually a container in our workshop for 1 year.
Okay.
And so we thought, let's do something with that. At least we should make one space. It should be a one realized first. So we went and met a lot of builders who are selling farmhouse plot, and it clicked with one builder and his client who were ready to make first container space. So we bought 40 feet container, we converted the house, that was our first house, which got popular everywhere. So that's how we got a project, and we thought, okay, we are doing it for one time, and we were happy, and then we got back to what we were doing. And then everything got published from everywhere, and you will not believe I had like hundreds of emails, and I was not even able to answer. So that much inquiry. So then the thought came that, okay, we should do something about this. So we see this as a product actually. And that is a difference between a lot of container houses which are being made, and what our things are made completely at our workshop, our container spaces. And then they are moved to the site. We don't work more than a week on the site.
Okay. When did you, actually get interested in this whole concept of upcycling?
When I went for my master's in UK, it was a research-based course, so we had to choose our subject. So I was kind of really searching what is a meaningful subject which will have some substance, which I feel good doing it, not rather than just one. So I came with two areas. One is design for disability and design from discarded material. I wanted to combine one. And when I made a project and I went to my course leader, he said, you have to choose one. And then I just chose one. I mean, there was no big thought or a story behind it, but once I got into it, a lot of stories came up, and that's when alternative use of materials and design was my thesis, and then that's where the whole thing started.
So now you're doing it in India,
yes.
And we have this tendency in our country. Of course, we do recycle a lot till such time as it has no value whatsoever. But then I think the new generation, we see a lot more of discarding that happens, right? But do they then value what you add in terms of design to the stuff that you've brought in from scrap?
I think young generation today, whenever we meet the students and whoever clients are there, they generally see these things as people do it because they don't have money. I mean, we have always connected reuse at restriction of resources. Right. Like we buy old books because all the students will buy only because they don't have money to buy a big one. So all we are now, this generation is connected reusing with restriction of finance resources. So now we are trying to say that we should promote it as a expression of, like, people should like it because buy it because they like it, or they should buy it because they feel responsible of environment.
So according to me, quite challenging?
As an interior designer, I was practicing. I want to use these things into my interiors. So we started doing that, and the problem happened that my contractors were not ready to make stuff that we want. Give an example, we wanted to make a wall cladding out of motherboards. Okay. So we got the motherboard, and then we said, okay, we want to use it as a tile on the wall. So I asked the mason that, कट इसको थोड़ा कट करके नो मैम इसमें तो प्लास्टिक है और मेटल है, हमारा ब्लेड खराब हो जाएगा, हम नहीं काटेंगे. So I went to the fabricator. He said the same thing. इसमें ये है, उसमें metal था, इसमें plastic था. So I said, what the hell? I'll get one blade and you cut it for me. Then I actually bought one cutting machine, hand cutter, and then they did it. So that was, I think, a seed for our workshop. That if we want to do these things, we need to have our own people. They don't want to spend time in experimenting. To working with scrap, we will need time. थोड़ा टूटेगा, फिर से करना पड़ेगा, and they think it's a waste of time. So that's where we hired one person who was our own carpenter. He would do whatever we say, and it was a very small space, and where we started in 2011ish. Yes.
So today, do you like have a team of people, specialized people, or you're still okay with getting in people like labor from anywhere? How does it work?
We have our own team, which is a mix of like a painter, carpenter, fabricator, little bit masonry work. So what we did is we hired slowly one by one people. Majorly we started with fabricator and a carpenter, but then we started learning ourselves other skills as well. I mean, our guys are from Bihar, UP and Orissa, so their family was always away. So one by one, because of the steady income, taking care of them, helping them finding the house and things like that, they were able to get their families here. The kids went to the school. They were not having gas stove. So I mean, all that slowly happened. All accounts and the insurance, those kind of things we are always taking care, because we feel that. And also it happened because the way our work was, we thought that it should not be, in a competition where we try to reduce the cost, because we never thought that has to happen. At the same time, we also did a lot of work in terms of working with outside our team. Like we worked with rack pickers. We had a grant from Maharashtra Environment Department that we were working with discarded material and researching on them. So we work closely with rack pickers and bhangarwalas. So even our work is bringing us to them now also, that we have to buy material from them. We keep in touch. I have like all the bhangarwalas WhatsApping me with the materials they have. Ki ma'am ye aaya hai, aap loge kya? Because we give the fair price and we pick up in a bulk sometimes. So that helps. So that way we try to connect with the local, and maybe not a thought that we want to do that, but it is happening with with the work that we are doing.
We have things like ratings, and we have gold ratings, and we talk of carbon footprints, we talk of sustainability. You practicing it all along. I mean, you out and out sustainable.
I don't know. Actually, I would question myself here that when we talk about sustainability, there are a lot of factors. So upcycling, I see it very differently. I mean, I've been talking to a lot of professors abroad, and in theory and what is happening. So there's a lot of questions. I mean, you would also ask, and we ask ourselves as well, that how much and what. So there are multiple levels. Like if I'm buying something and I'm upcycling, but let's say I'm using too much water for cleaning, whether it is upcycled or not. Then if I'm making something, it has been used only for 2 months, and I'm spending a lot of resources, and then it's getting discarded. Is it such? So all this, even I don't know, half of our stuff might not be, but how we see it is that one has to experiment, and then we have to come up as a conclusion. We are still into experiment stage as a like this time, I'm saying. Maybe in 10 years or 15 years or 50 years, as a generation, we would come to a conclusion that this is good or bad.
Right.
Example, when recycling started as a concept, everybody thought recycling is the answer to everything. But it's not, now we know. Right? So that's how I see this as the first step maybe, and then maybe people have to do it for some time and then realize whether this is good or bad. But having said that, reducing waste is always good on any day.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Once again.
Thank you. I never thought I will do all this.
Yeah, amazing. But really.
Yeah, but also our team. I'm very lucky. I wouldn't have started Dolly. I wouldn't have started without my sister. And then second came was Sonali. If it was not for people around me, believe me, it's not easy to hang in where you don't have money and you don't have idea what to do, and then still you want to do something.
Amazing.
So we have good people.
Great. Are we still on?
I'm still trying to understand the question.
I don't know what to ask her suddenly.